Well, one of the things we say about marriage is that it's a revelation. You know, when you walk down that road and eventually start living together, then you start discovering each other, which is something you can hardly do when you're out there. You're dating, you're doing all these things. The whole dating and courtship game is a lot of pretense. Yeah, people show you best foot forward. And then finally, when you become domesticated, then the real hyena comes out. So a lot of times, the revelation in marriage is what now leads to the biggest problem, actually, which a lot of marital couples have: incongruence, marital incongruence. You start discovering that, this is not what I thought. Yeah, so in your mind already, you're beset by disappointment, and you're thinking, this is not the guy I married. And you start asking him, where's the guy I married? And vice versa. The guy looks at the woman sometimes and thinks, no, I did the wrong thing. But you already done it, so you're in marriage. And the thing with marriage is that the family and the society is looking at you. So you're supposed to try and make good. But the biggest problem is usually that incongruence. You realize that you're not fitting the wheels together.
You're not compatible.
Yeah, that compatibility starts missing. And then you start questioning each other. The worst part now is when then you start expressing disappointment very early, like 3 years, like she's saying. It should last at least. Yeah, that's pretty early in marriage. Marriage is supposed to last a lifetime. So you should be talking about disappointments maybe 10 years down the road and you say, oh, this thing is really difficult for me. But if you start that early, then most likely that marriage will become dead as a dodo.
All right, Winnie, do you agree with Ken that the courtship period is a period where people are pretending, as it were? It's like a peacock that's, let out its feathers, and as soon as you get into marriage, then you close those feathers and you see the real person. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree totally with Ken, in the sense that there's a lot of sweet words. You don't, even when you're discussing, you only discuss your education, investments, the number of children you're going to have when you marry, and you never discuss the mental part of it. What is your family history? That one, they miss it out. Something like, my dad was a bully. So even the girl, even the boy will never pick it up. If you're told my dad was a bully, my mom used to be beaten, we never expose that private part of it. So you discover a long way as you get it, because the emotional abuse comes from the past, from the history. And this is something we ignore, something people ignore during courtship, and something we should be discussed actually. So it is true. We cover up a lot during courtship. And when we marry, we imagine it's going to be a bed of roses. It never turns to be, because now the true colors come out.
Okay. Now, one thing that I know characterizes emotional abuse is arguments, outbursts of anger. How can one tell the difference between an anger outburst? There are people who manage anger differently. How do you tell the difference between an anger outburst and one who is manipulative to the point where they want to emotionally abuse you, Ken?
Part of what we need to look out for as couples or as, marital spouses is if the anger outbursts are regular. If it's something more of a habitual happening in marriage, then you have a problem. But if everybody gets angry, even God gets angry, but if you have a bout of anger that emerges after, say, 3 months, or some incidental anger, something you did, and even you feel, maybe this guy is justified for getting annoyed, that's all right, that you can deal with. If marriage is all about that, fight it out, clean it up. But if this is a regular, habitual, like I call it, a habitual occurrence where somebody just looks for ish, where is the problem here today, even when there's no problem, then you start sensing trouble, because sometimes, true, you're not doing the right thing, yeah? But then you can't keep not doing the right thing all the time. Sometimes in marriage, the idea is to, clover it. You pretend that, okay, this is bad, but let me overlook this. In fact, if you really love someone, then you love them with their faults. Yeah, but if those faults rub you the wrong way all the time, the easiest way is sit them down, and have a chat with them.